asking me, how do you do your work? An intriguing question. I really like questions. I actually like questions a lot better than I like answers usually, which is a good thing because I have a lot more questions than I have answers. But Hawthorne Valley was actually founded in response to at least two questions, and this is going back all the way into the mid-50s, early 60s. What to do about the rapid loss of small family farms, and what to do about this increased materialism and mechanization on the lives of our children. How can we create a model for sustainable farming, small, mid-scale, independently owned farms, and how can we connect children to the land in a genuine and meaningful way? I still like this integrated approach, and I'll give you a very short and humble story because it's short enough to fit into a 20-minute presentation. Behind Hawthorne Valley School, there is a creek. And over that creek, there's a bridge. It leads to trails through the woods, up into the hills, to the swim pond where the summer campers go. When a massive flood wiped that bridge out, there was no money in the budget to erect a new one. We're a struggling not-for-profit. At the same time, our 10th graders were in their technology block, and in that block, they actually design and build balsa wood bridges and then load test them. So I went in and I said, how would you like to build a real bridge? Then I went to an engineer and an architect and I said, could you come in and help our students go through a design process with 3 criteria? The bridge needs to be strong, it needs to be aesthetically pleasing, and it needs to be buildable. 2 of those students won a kind of impromptu design contest with a modified King Post Truss bridge, and those 2 students went on to become engineers. One of them works for NASA. But this didn't solve my budgetary problem, so next I wrote a 1-page bulleted appeal speaking to the importance of this bridge to the community, the pedagogical value of having the students work on the bridge. And I sent it to 9 companies who had never heard of Hawthorne Valley before, big bridge building firms, specialized hardware companies. I actually called the president of a company in Cleveland, Ohio, which was the only company that manufactured shear plates that I needed. But I called them the day after the New York Yankees beat the Indians in the AL pennant race. I said, kind of a tough time for a guy from New York to ask a guy from Cleveland for a favor, but not only did he send the shear plates, he sent the tool to install them. 9 appeals, 9 yeses, all the materials donated, and the bridge that those students designed and built very elegantly still spans the Agawamik Creek. So understanding that relationship between the genuine need, between the pedagogical value, and between the development value, in a way created a satisfying solution for all parties. I could say my 20 years of teaching in the high school and my 14 or so years of stewarding all of the buildings and grounds and keeping everything running at Hawthorne Valley on a shoestring budget really taught me a lot about problem solving and also about the importance of flexibility. And it really trained me, I could say, for this role of executive director. Executive director. Nice title. I prefer to think of myself as the executive servant. I really subscribe to the philosophy of servant leadership, and that's leadership from the ground up. I'm the one speaking to you, but I'm really speaking on behalf of my 150 colleagues and coworkers at Hawthorne Valley, because Hawthorne Valley is truly an ensemble work. Right now, I get to be the conductor. I hope that I'm actually inviting, in a way, the leadership principle into our group, and that at any given time, anybody can step up. I see Hawthorne Valley as a place of a culture of shared responsibility and final accountability. And I hope that I'm fostering a collaborative management style and a collective buy-in and ownership of our mission. I would like to invite all of you to take part in a little participatory exercise. Since I didn't bring a PowerPoint presentation, I'm going to rely on all of you to help me imagine Hawthorne Valley. So I invite you to close your eyes, if you haven't done so already. With eyes closed, imagine a bucolic valley, pastures and fields surrounded by gently rolling forested hills. 2 streams actually run through this valley. In the center, imagine a bustling hamlet, biodynamic farm, Waldorf school, organic grocery store, happy, vibrant children engaged in all manner of activity. This is Hawthorne Valley. Some of you might know Hawthorne Valley through the Union Square Green Market. Some of you might know it through our yogurt. Some of you might send your children to our visiting students program or summer camp, or some of you might have been visiting students or summer campers yourself once. If you look a little closer, you can see the cows. How many of you coffee drinkers put milk in your coffee? It's highly likely it came from a cow. I hang out with cows. So I ask you, consider the cow. This gentle creature spends its day eating grass. A lot of forces go into growing that grass. Cosmic forces like sunlight, earthly forces like soil and rain. The cow assimilates all those forces and quietly, patiently digests them, not just once. What do you suppose the cow is ruminating on all the time it's out there in the pasture? My imagination is the cow is wondering, what is it that the earth needs to maintain or improve fertility so that more higher quality grass can continue to grow in this pasture for future generations of cows? This symbiotic relationship between the cow and pasture produces one of life's miracle alchemical substances: poop. After all that digesting and consideration, the cow delivers in a perfect package a potent material that is really perfected for their place. The truth is that on a biodynamic farm, it is this fertility in the form of the cow manure that is prized above all else. The milk in your coffee, a happy byproduct. But what does this have to do with how I do my work? And where's the 99% perspiration? I know that Florian didn't fly all the way in from Switzerland to hear about cow poop. But I think Jay really warmed this up by talking about the imagination, because what I just gave you is an imagination. It arises out of a quiet observation and the formation of an inner picture. You could say that biodynamic farming offers the farmer an opportunity to cultivate that imagination as steward of the land, to be able to really intuit what is the land asking for and what other forces are at work. A refined imagination is an incredibly valuable outcome of attending to one's inner landscape. There are numerous capacities that can be developed and called upon by taking time out to contemplate, by taking the cow path. This is not meant to be mere passivity. This requires really active listening, really primordial silence, which is probably why in world cultures, it's mostly referred to as practice. And I can say from experience that it is work that is never done. For me in my work, this comes down to a process of remembering, of connecting my inner life to my outer deeds, of connecting my mind or my thoughts to my heart. It means taking hold of my emotions and quieting that racket in the attic so that I'm able to actually fully align my attention with my intention. It means setting aside time every morning and every night to do this work. It means finding time throughout the day to try to find some balance between all of that outer activity and really an active inward life, or inwardly active. I would say that to me, this is what it means to be human. This is our defining nature, the capacity to pause and reflect. It seems to me that we need to use this faculty more and more in everything that we set our hands to. Our actions have consequences, intended and otherwise, seen and unseen. I think we're waking up to this reality, and I think lately at times it's been a rude awakening. So the next time a good idea comes to mind, I hope I have the presence to pause, reflect, check in with my heart, listen to others, and in this way, perhaps let a good idea become a great idea. There is so much to be done. There are so many patterns of human behavior that we know need to change. Hawthorne Valley is committed to social and cultural renewal through education, through agriculture, through the arts, through research. To me, the idea of transforming society begins with transforming myself. Hopefully, this is done with a warmth of interest in the other, in the world. Hopefully, this will lead to a genuine love for all that is possible. This is the cow path. Don't we all want to leave the earth in better condition for future generations? Everything that we know, everything that has been made by the hands of humankind, originated with an inner picture. It began with someone's imagination. If we're not satisfied with the way that things are manifesting in the world today, we need to change our inner picture. It's that simple. And it's that difficult. Thank you.